Good morning. It's 9:40 a.m. Vernon, BC. 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Still pretty warm. 9th of January. No snow. Snow up on the hills to beat heck, but no snow. Very well, really, it's green grass out here. I was saying to somebody this morning that it's January the 9th. It's been warm, warm, warm. And there's a good chance the sap is rising in the fruit, cherry trees, soft fruits. If that's the case, there's a good chance if it turns cold and freezes, there'll be no cherries, no soft fruits for another year. That'll be 2 years in a row. That's going to be a big loss for that part of the agricultural system. But, on the other hand, what if it stays above zero? What if we have a winter above zero? That would be something. That would be a change in climate. That would be a change. But anyway, that's possible. Who knows? So, I've got to, I'm finishing off another chapter in book 11, and what I'm going to sort of dwell on today is that, it comes to me that, this business of how we got here and why we're here is a big question. I mean, a lot of people just do not pay attention to that. The whole reason for everything is strictly that reason, that we're here to basically become a son of the creator of the universe. By all kinds of means. I mean, everything had to be done. The whole place had to be put into operation, had to be put into place. Over, I don't know how long it took to get everything in place. Planets in place, the sun, the moon, everything, gravity, oceans, water. That's pretty amazing. Sometimes I just feel like, that I should thank somebody for allowing me to travel around this planet in a body. And I just woke up in this body. I don't know where it came from. I pretty well know where it came from now, but at that time I sure wouldn't have known. And, all this business of born with certain conditions around you and things like that at a certain time, it makes me wonder if everybody's birth is planned. It's possible. There'll be so many this year, so many next year. Where they're going to be, who they're going to be, what color their hair is going to be, how tall they're going to be, how smart they're going to be. All these things. I had nothing to do with it. Neither do you. We've just plopped here and just sit here or we get here and we're just sort of, at times we're amazed that we were practically overwhelmed by what's happening. It's very fleeting because we don't seem to remember it too good. The thing, great thing about humans is that they have memory. They have a memory of their life, especially their life, and the lives of them around them, but especially of their life. And the fact that you can, I can sit here 90 years old and remember when I was like 6. I remember running around outside doing things. I remember stepping on a nail and running to Grandpa, hopping on one leg, and and he just said, well, just a minute, we'll have to fix that. And he said, we'll make you a crutch. So he went and he got a stick about the right size, and he cut a smaller one, and he nailed it on the top of the stick and made a crutch out of it. And he put it on my side, showed me how to hang on to it. And I think I was about 5 or 6. And I was so pleased with the stick, I just held it up like this and ran to the house to show them the stick. I didn't feel the nail then. He reminded me of that a couple of times. He said that really made him laugh. As soon as I got the little crutch, I forgot about the nail. Yeah, and there's a memory, just as plain as like it was yesterday. If it comes pretty close to replaying it. Your life. You can replay a lot of it. You can't remember it all at once, and it's funny. There's a lot of things you don't remember. A lot of things you partially remember, and I think there is something to do with feelings. They say that if you want somebody to remember you, that they will remember you by how you make them feel, not anything else. Yeah. The way you make them feel will be the way they will remember you, above all else. Not what you give them or whatever, but how you make them feel. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. It's funny how you think back on your life, at least I do, and think, I had such an opportunity at that time and I didn't realize it. I could have done things totally different. And I would have been successful at that. But I didn't. And I made a mess of it. Not really a mess, but I missed the opportunity. And there's quite a few of those. When I think back on it, how I should have reacted better. I was slow to react on some things. Very slow. Especially with showing appreciation or love or whatever. I grew up with that. I guess I didn't. That wasn't a big thing in my family. It was like sort of expected. You didn't have to say it. It was just there. The whole idea of traversing this planet for however many years you do is, it's quite a gift, when you think about it. You're born into this world, you don't have a clue at all where you came from or nothing. You are produced. You are created by a system that's been put in place for every single being on this planet. Has a system that got up here. And then there's the big problem of not knowing why you're here until you figure it out or realize it or learn it or discover it or whatever. And then it may not resonate with you too much right away, but then after at certain times it'll come around and it'll make you basically amazed. And I'm planning just so far. Well, I've paid for the cruise, but I mean I'm planning on going on April 26th on a 11-day cruise down to Puerto Vallarta, back to Vancouver. Now, I've got to make it till April 26th. That's the first thing. And then I've got to be able to physically do it. I have a few months to try to figure out how to get my back in better shape than it is. I've been trying a few things lately, and I'm going to try some more. I've been wearing poultices, castor oil soaked poultice on my back. I have a back belt, and I put this poultice in the belt, put it on my back and wear it. And castor oil is supposed to be a penetrating, a moisturizing, penetrating oil. Of all kinds of oils, this is the most maybe the most penetrating. And they've used it for a lot of things in a lot of ways. It's yeah. I don't know what it's made of. It's made of some castor beans, I believe. I think they're pressed. And what I've got, I think, is certified organic and cold pressed, I believe. I'm not wearing it right now, but I should, at least once a day. And I'm trying to do it on my back to see if it will do something to lessen my discs that are crushed. But I think the doctor told me a couple of years ago, he said you're going to eventually end up with an arthritic spine. Well, I think it's there. Huh. I mean, when I sit down, it's fine. When I lay down, so far, it's pretty well okay. But all I got to do is get up and walk a bit, and then sometimes my back will start aching really bad the first 10 steps. Other times, I can walk out to the parking lot and get in the car and not even notice it. Other times, I got a tough time getting to the car. So how do I get on a ship? I mean, you gotta go out in this big parking lot and go around and around and around all these deals to register to get on the ship, and then you go way up the walkway, and then, man, I'm telling this girl that works for Holland America, I said, is there any way that the ship could get a wheelchair down there so that I could take the wheelchair up into the ship? And once I'm in the ship, I think I can make it okay. And she said she was going to look into that. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that's the part I worry about. Getting to the airport now, as I just demand a wheelchair, and I get it. And in most cases, I get wheeled right through, right to the plane door. And that's pretty good. And when I get off, I've gone right through the airport, right out to the street. And I just says, thank you very much. Here's a tip. I tipped this one woman. I was in Los Angeles, and I landed in Los Angeles, And this short, she wasn't fat, but she had been fat, very fat. She told me that she had gotten up to what, I don't know, I think it was 400 or 500 pounds. And all she did was lay and eat, lay and eat. She couldn't quit. And finally, she agreed that she had to do something or she was going to die. So she went to the airport, got herself down to the airport, and said she wanted a job at the airport. And they said, okay, you have a job here. It'll be pushing wheelchairs through the airport. And you'll get paid so much, and you'll get, plus that, you'll get tips. And so she said she did. And she said when she started, I think she said she was about down near 600 pounds or something. Ridiculous. And she said she just moaned and groaned going through there, how everything hurt. But she said she just kept doing it and doing it till finally she said it's lessened, got less and less. She lost, instantly started to lose weight. And pretty soon she got down to a weight that, I don't know what she would have been. She would most likely been maybe 175, something. Not bad, not bad. A little chunky for her size because she was quite short, but not fat, not out of line. And she told me this, and telling me this from the plane to the outside sidewalk through the Los Angeles airport, which is a big airport. Anyway, she's telling me this all the way through. And I'm listening to her. And I get outside the airport, and I still had some Mexican money. Yeah, how come? It must not have been in Los Angeles, because I gave her Mexican money, and she was just thrilled, because I gave her 100 pesos. I had a 100 peso bill, and I was leaving, so I thought, that's good. I'll give it to her. And she just over and over thanking me, and that could be the best thing that's ever happened, and thank you very, very much. And yeah, I took a picture of her when I left, and I thought, well, that's good for her. Now, that could not have been Los Angeles. It must have been Guadalajara. Yeah, Guadalajara. Yeah, because I missed the plane in, where was it? I forget, that was in Mexico, but I missed the plane there because they moved it and I didn't know it. And they said, oh yeah, we did it on the loudspeaker. And I said, you said that in your broken English on the loudspeaker with all the noise going on in the airport, and I'm supposed to catch and listen. You happen to hear that? But anyway, I raised heck about it, and they finally said, okay, we'll give you another flight out of here tomorrow. So I had to go get a motel room and Howard Johnson's, which was okay, very nice place, and be back at, I think it was noon the next day. So it must have been in Guadalajara. Ha! I don't know. I shouldn't. Well, I don't know. I don't know what city it was, but it must have been there. Anyway, she was very happy, very happy. But I thought her story was so moving and so legit and so, a real person who overcame real physical problems, real physical problems. A lot of people don't. They just give into it, lay down and moan and groan, and do it for years and years and years. Yeah. Well, I want to stick on this theme, though, that I want people to remember the importance of being here. You know, you're here for a purpose, not just, didn't just end up here. No, you're here for a real purpose. And that's the whole thing. If people are lucky enough to recognize the importance of their being here and why they're here and who wants them here and how he's covered the fact that you can't keep the law, his law. And he knew that. And if he didn't keep his law, the penalty is death. And he said, that's no getting around that. Can't change it. And that way he'd never be able to have a family. He'd never be able to have sons, because you'd have to let them all die. They'd all have to die. That is why he and the Word at that time, it was a long time before there was anything here, he agreed that he would die in the place of all the people that God was going to create, all the sons he was going to create. Because they wouldn't be able to keep his law, and it had to be that they had to basically choose him, want to be in his family, want to be his son without any coercion. And that's the only way they could be his son, by choice. And he had to cover that. Now, when you think about that, that's a pretty complicated deal. To think way back. It's going to be eons back that he formulated this plan. He is eternal. So, at some point in this great existence he's had, he decided to have sons, a family. And being he is God, Almighty, holy, eternal God, that he would have a place and a city and a family, and they would live with him forever. Now, here's the thing. When I look in the mirror at myself and I look at you, I sometimes, I didn't realize it before, but when I look at it now, I realize that God created you God created you in his own image. Now, over the millions and maybe billions of years, he created tons of angels and beasts, and flying things and whatever. And he never created anyone in his image until you and me. Now, that's a pretty high honor. Now, when you think about it, he's created you and me to live with him eternally in the highest form there is in the universe except him. A son of God. That'd be your classification. That'll be your be what you will be. No one higher than that except God himself, Jesus Christ. So, you know, how could you figure out a higher honor of something that to attain to. You know, that is something that you can actually attain to, that is offered to you. A lot of people don't know that's offered to them like that. They don't realize what a tremendous offer that is. You know, I think people could talk about that for months, years. They could write 100,000 books about that. It wouldn't matter. But what bigger subject is there? None. We're talking about the biggest subject there is in the universe. It's the idea that God is going to create sons to live with him forever in his great metropolis on a new created earth and a new created heavens. Whatever that is. The thing is, he said, in a way, what he said is, you're going to be surprised. You'll never guess in a million years what it is, what I'm planning for you. Now, you multiply that with the idea that you're being offered this. No, you can't buy it. It's a free gift from God the Father. And I hope that more and more people will realize that. And I don't know, making a book and whatever, if that helps, and that helps, I'm glad. I would be very glad if it did. That would make me very happy. But, it's a funny thing. I wrote a book about, the Israelites and where they came from, and blah, 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 blah. And are the Israelites the white race? Or I guess it must be, because they're the ones that immigrated to North America, or from Europe and then into North America. And the whole idea of the 10 lost tribes of Israel, Jesus says, I came to minister to, or to whatever, to the lost 10 tribes of Israel. The Benjamin and the Jews were not lost. The rest were. And God said they will forget who they are. They will forget who they are. But he said, I won't lose one. And that was Christ's mission, was to preach to, or to minister to, the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Now, I don't know where he did that, or if he did that, or where, but that was one of his missions. And the thing that, you read it in the book of Revelation, like I read things in there that just make me kind of shiver a little bit, because I'm wondering, is God absolutely fixed on who is his children? Is that the 10 tribes of Israel? Because in the book of Revelation, I don't know, chapter 20 or around in there, it starts talking about things like the 12 steps to this horrendous big city, or 12 steps, are named after the 12 tribes of Israel, or something like that, I think. And then somewhere else, it's the 3 gates on each side, which totals 12, are for the sons of Jacob, or whatever. And then somewhere else it says something else. And I'm thinking, is God that territorial that he says, these are my sons and these who are going to live with me, and these who are the ones who are going to be honored. You know, we may be missing the boat when we try to understand God. God is not a man. God is not doesn't run a democracy of any kind. God is God, Almighty. King, ruler, whatever you can put on it. You know, there's no end of names you can give him. None are too high because he's the highest of all. So the future that people can look forward to is so great it's hard to put in a book or in a speech or in a talk or anything. It's so big that and he's saying you can be part of it. Even if you get killed in the tribulation, he says, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the ones who can kill the body. Worry about the one who can kill the soul. Your soul and spirit. And that's him. I believe he's the only one that can. He's the only one that controls your soul and spirit. He's when you die, your spirit goes back to God who gave it to you when you were conceived. Not when you were born, when you were conceived. Bang, you got the spirit right there. Because I think you needed the instructions in something to build you. You know, it just didn't happen with an egg. It had to have all these instructions of what cell to go to what place, exactly, here, there, which one build the eye, which one does this. That's tremendous stuff. There's nothing ever been created in a humans have never created any program like that. No, and we are created and constructed by his absolute instructions, plan and instructions, right to the nth degree. I've said this before, and I will say it again, and I think it's worth saying, is that we're living in his plan. There's a great plan. Can you imagine some entity having such a great plan that he knows in advance every single thing that's going to happen to every single person, and animal, and human, and star, and whatever. Everything. Knows it from start to finish. Ahead of time. He knows it when he knows it's before it's created, and he knows when it's created. Yeah. Makes you wonder sometimes what God does for fun. Must do something. I think half the time he has a lot of fun just laughing at us. It's a no-ending comic movie. People doing dumb things. Yeah, or stumbling across something and looking at it and not even know what it is. And we've done that. Human race has done that many times. Yeah, and it just keeps on. The tendency of the carnal nation of the carnal the carnal system of humans, the carnal condition of humans is so prevalent that it always seems to want to, in political terms would be, to go to the left instead of the right. It would rather do kind of like illegal things or wrong things with a tendency to do that than to do right and good things. So like, and that's a conundrum for me to know why that is. And that's, people will generally be more glad to talk bad about someone than good. That's a given. And the whole story of civilization, and that's from beginning to end, starts with God, not us. And the story can be told so many ways. Like for instance, it's amazing to me and to most likely a lot of people that the white race, when it basically immigrated to North America, the history of it seemed to be that it developed a condition of discipleship, sort of, where there was groups and groups and groups who supported, they actually supported people being a missionary going over to convert and to try to do whatever they could in foreign lands. And in Africa, basically, was a big foreign missionary field. But there was a lot of countries. And it was from the white race nations of Canada, United States, England, that these missionaries all came from. They didn't come from anywhere else. They did not come from Africa. They didn't come from China. They didn't come from South America. And when you think of that, that must have been that it was in them to promote and the idea of worshiping and realizing who Jesus Christ and God was. Lot more than other people. And that there's still missionaries, I'm sure, but maybe not to the extent that it used to be. I mean, there was practically, not every church, but most churches had a fund for missionary. They were funding a missionary of some kind. And well, they did. Now that makes you wonder why one race of people would do that for another race. Had to be a reason for it. And I don't know what the big reason is, but that was the reason, because it was like basically a commandment of God to go and
unknown caller.
So I guess my phone is interrupting me here now. I should have shut it off. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope that your days are good and you're having as good a winter as we're having. It may even make me believe in climate change. And I guess I'd have to, because it would be a change. Yeah, and well, whatever. Anyway, we'll hopefully talk to you again. And someday maybe we'll even meet you. Who knows? In the meantime, God bless you and keep you. Goodbye.